Joining me today on the Clubcast is Aberdeen Club Chairman Tom O'Connell. Tom, how's things?
Good evening, yourself?
I'm not too bad. Usually it's me trying to avoid phone calls from you, but this time it's the other way around.
Yeah, you've got me cornered this time, all right. So I'm going to see how many views Slattery got and Joe Meehan. We're going to have to try and beat that.
Well,
So we'll
I'm
wait
sure,
and see.
I'm sure we'll give it a good shot anyway. I want to start straight away, I suppose, by asking you how you think the GA have handled the COVID-19 restrictions. Have they shown enough leadership within the community, do you think, with, I suppose, what's an unprecedented situation for most club officers?
Yeah, I think they have to be fair to them. I think of all the organisations, they were probably the first of the sporting organisations. They were first to come out and make a fairly swift decision to shut down the whole, I suppose, organisation as such. And it was at a big cost. And I think it put pressure on the other organisations, the rugby and the soccer, to follow suit. So you'd have to compliment them on that, and also making like Croke Park and Páirc Uí Chaoimh available, and there's other GA grounds being made available for the COVID-19 testing. So no, I think they're, of all the organisations, they're top of the class with regard to, I suppose, shutting it down so early and being so proactive as well with regard to, as I say, making the stadiums available, and also they got involved in a community support, which we're actually involved in. So where they're making our GA members are making themselves available to the community to do, I suppose, non-essential medical errands, for want of a better way of describing it. So whether it's dropping shopping to elderly people or drugs from pharmacies or whatever the case may be. So no, I think they'd be first class, to be fair, in their initial reaction to it. Yeah.
Has there been a lot of contact between like the county boards and the clubs? I mean, are they trying to plan anything, any sort of comeback or?
Yeah. I suppose, in fairness, they're basically at the hands of whatever the government decides. But no, we've been getting weekly updates. Brian Murphy, the secretary of the club, has been sending on emails. But again, they're more or less waiting and seeing what's going to happen now next weekend, how long it's going to be extended. I think they're going to have to make a decision pretty soon now with regard to what they're going to do with the inter-county competitions in particular. But again, I suppose, like everybody, it is day by day at the moment. But they have been in contact, and I've taken a couple of phone calls from county board officials as well, just how we're getting on and everything okay. And so they have been as supportive as they can be, but because of the huge uncertainty, they have to wait and to see what the government decides, and from there they'll make a decision on that. But I think they're going to have to call it pretty soon in the next month. What they're going to do at the intercounty stage, and from that then that'll decide what they're going to do with all the club fixtures. So no, I really can't knock them at the moment.
I suppose. Well, obviously, it being an amateur organisation, there isn't as many people employed within DGA in kind of contrast to soccer clubs and stuff like that, where you don't really have any staff that would be employed on a match day or anything like that. So I suppose still though there would be a financial hit for clubs and for the county board. I suppose it's kind of prevented a lot of fundraising and stuff. Has it been?
Yeah,
Will
yeah,
it be?
it's massive.
Yeah.
I suppose back to our own case in Aberdeen, we have a club bar, and I suppose like that was that was a tough I suppose decision to make. I suppose, look, our hands were tied in the sense that it was a policy of the land or of the government, but that was very tough on Bill and his staff. The clubhouse, he's doing a fantastic job down there, and then just to be shut down overnight is very tough. So that was a very, very tough decision to make. And again, I suppose with regard to revenues coming into the club, we usually run our monthly draws at this time of the year. So we were due to start the end of February, March, April, May, June, a 5-month draw, and basically that had to completely shut down. So that whole revenue stream has gone. The only thing is there is no money going out of the club at the moment because there's no activities, so there's no buses for juveniles or the gear. We were all set up. We had the gear bought already, as in the sledders, the hurleys, etc., to get us started off. So there's no money's going up, but it will be a big challenge when we do get up and running, because obviously there'll be expenditure straight away, and we will have to go fundraising, and we will be going fundraising with probably every other club in the county, and that being both GAA and soccer and rugby, because there's no fundraising going on by any organisation, and you see it with the charities as well. So it will be a big ask of the community, and again, we don't know at the other side of this what way the economy will be, so I got a feeling money will be tighter. So look, it's down the line that we had a bit of money in the kitty, not enough to finish out the year, but it's a challenge. But look, the community are very good to us, in fairness. Anytime we go looking for fundraising, they've never left us down, and yeah, we're hoping to have a big fundraiser in the end of October. We had it provisionally booked in as well. We do our Battle of the Parish every 2 years. We had it in the calendar. Perhaps not a Battle of the Parish, but something along that lines. So at the moment, that's up in the air. We don't know what will be allowed next October with regard to crowds, etc. Will there be hotels open? So it's yeah, it's strange times, to put it mildly, but look, we could be worse off. We will be able to get back up and running straight away. But again, fundraising will be a big challenge when we get back up and running.
I suppose just to take you up on that, like, do you think there will be a lot of activity for the rest of 2020? Like, do you expect to see any inter-county action for the rest of the year?
I know, I was speaking to an Evidorny player there today, Keith O'Connor, and I'm in contact constantly with Tony, the senior manager, and famous last words, I don't think there'll be inter-county action this year. It's gone too late. If there is going to be inter-county action, it'll be behind closed doors, and that will be, I think, all dependent on whether the TV guys will buy the games. And I think that might sway them if the TVs, the Sky Sports, or whoever, RT, come in and say, look, we'll buy the games behind closed doors, then that might get them to do it. But if they don't, I don't think there'll be inter-county. I don't know, I could be wrong. I think we'll probably see action maybe the 1st of September, and it'll be club championship. They might just let it go this year, the inter-county side of it, and go with club. And look, you can run a club championship off September, October, November. That's if everything opens up in September, and kind of that seems to be the 1st of September seems to be when they will allow groups of people, let's say 100 people or more in the one area. So that's my hunch, but I really don't know. Nobody seems to know. The GA are not giving any indication. Everybody is just kind of sitting on their hands and just waiting to see. So yeah, we'll see what happens this weekend when they're going to call that. Will they extend it for another month? We'll see. And then, the more they extend it, the window of opportunity for the inter-county in particular is going to be very hard. And the GA are sending out all the right sound bites with regard to the club. They're saying they're going to, they're not going to ignore the club fixtures. And I got a feeling that inter-county could suffer big time this year. And the clubs will run after championships at the back end of the year. So, but again, you don't know, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I suppose there's probably going to be a bit of a litmus test from other countries over the next month or two. You see Germany are trying to get some games played in the Bundesliga and finish out the league, and the same in England as well. So I mean, if multi-million organizations like that won't be able to handle it, then obviously the GA will have to really kind of take stock and realize that it's probably not going to be possible.
Yeah, and I suppose the GA, although they might admit it, aren't under much pressure financially than the Bundesligas and the professional sports. They're under huge pressure. So I think the GA have the back to bear with regard to the monies. I think they have enough of a war chest in there. It's an amateur organisation, so the real heat isn't on with regard to the Premiership. I mean, they're in huge trouble. The Premiership rugby, they've got to get players. I think they have to finish their competitions by the end of June because of player contracts, and they're under serious pressure to get the competitions run out and back up and running again. While the GA, although it would be great, they're not under that much. They are under financial pressure, but at the same time, it is an amateur organisation, so they wouldn't have as immediate a need to go back as such. So again, we'll wait and see. Hopefully, they'll make the right decision, and I suppose in the best interests of people's health, really. Players' health and the public's health, and I think that's what the GA, in fairness, will be guided by first.
Do you think that those club games will actually be played in front of crowds if they are played by the time October comes around? I know that they've put in restrictions on up to 5,000 people if anything does happen, and if you were to say that last year about maybe the Kerry County Championship, you would have said, well, it probably would have been fine. But the fact that it's probably going to be the only sport that gets played this year, you'll probably be fighting people back from the gates.
Probably, yeah. People trying to get in and just get a day out. I don't know. They're saying 5,000 up to the 1st of September, and they might ramp that up then to maybe, I don't know. Again, you just don't know, up to whatever 10,000, and maybe the social distancing might narrow down to whatever 1 foot rather than 2 feet or something. I don't know. I think if it's well monitored and reasonably well controlled, I think they could do it. I think they should do it, the GA, especially if the intercounty scene doesn't happen, then they could put a big effort just to get the club championships done. So I think it's doable. But again, it has to be very, very controlled. But look, GA guys are doing nothing at the moment and haven't done anything for 6 months. So I think hopefully, when we get up and going again, there'll be loads of volunteers and loads of people willing to help and crowd control or whatever the case may be. So, look, as you say, 5,000 is, you'll get 5,000 at a club football championship in Kerry, all right? You won't get it in hurling. But as you say, people want to get out and get cracking at it. So they might limit the numbers, I would say. Maybe they might have to ticket games for Tralee for 1,000 people or something like that, which is doable, and if you spread them out accordingly, you could, it's doable, all right, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose as well, like, just off the conversation we've had for the last couple of minutes, it's very concentrated on adult games. And I mean, there's probably hundreds of underage games as well that you have to add into that. Do you think that there'll almost be a cutoff point that maybe only games for ages 16 and up will be played this year? Or will they try to get some activity at all age levels played at some stage? Or is it doable to have the younger guys out?
Again, I suppose what I'm afraid of is the onus to be put back on the club officials, as in the chairmen and secretaries, to control it. It will be very, very hard to control. I think they should have competitions for all age groups, but again, it might just be down to just one competition. So it might be just for an under 6, it might be just one blitz, or some sort of a championship at under 6 or under 8, but just one competition. And perhaps blitz, now that I think of it, blitzes mightn't work at all. It might be just 2 teams playing each other and run off one competition for each group just to keep them active. It's important to keep them somewhat interested, and you wouldn't want to wipe out the year completely, especially if it opens up a small bit. So, but I think it'll be very controlled. It'll be very few games. I think there'll be no league, even if you go to the adult side of it. I don't think there'll be any leagues. It'll be straight championship. And then with regard to the underage, probably something similar as well. Maybe each, whatever, under 10, under 12, maybe play 3 or 4 games in the year, and that could be it. It's the only way you can control it. I would think, but I don't envy the job of Peter Tracy and the county board, or Tim Murphy, or the guys in Croke Park either. How they're going to control this? It's one outbreak could just destroy the whole setup. So they'd have to think very, very carefully of it, But I would like to think that they will get all age groups involved.
Yeah, actually, I remember now we had a meeting at the start of the year that Giles O'Grady was at, and we were discussing fixtures and stuff. And I mean, it was looking like a fairly impossible task then, like, to get fixtures into a 9-month period. So they're probably going to have to get fixtures into a 3-month period now.
Yeah, it's just there wasn't enough days in the week with the fixtures that were coming down the track, and we were ready to go. Tom Fitzmaurice looks after the board and all there, and he had everything set up for coaches to get cracking. And just the week after Patrick's weekend, we were going out on the pitch and with all the teams, and everybody was raring to go, and this whole bombshell fell. So now I think we'll be trying to limit games for this year anyway. And look, this time next year, hopefully we'll be in a different spot, and we'll have the problem of there won't be enough days in the week to play all these games. So we just have to. 2020 will be a year we'll remember, and for everybody really outside of the GA. But it's just looks totally unprecedented, and we'll just try and do the best we can.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Honestly, this kind of stuff that I was unsure about as well. Like, and you can do as much reading as you want, but it's kind of hard to find where the GA are being definitive on the kind of instructions they're putting out to the club. So I think that was pretty interesting. Everyone will kind of be more informed after that.
Yeah.
After that, finally, I asked you to pick. It's a bit more trivial. An all-time 15 with players you played hurling with. Obviously, it's probably going to be a fairly widespread team because you played with UCC and stuff like that as well. So I'm interested to see what kind of names are thrown into the mix there. So I suppose we'll start off. Who would you pick in goals?
Yeah, so I suppose I had to go through. In fact, there's Abby Dorney, there's Kerry, and there's a few guys I played with in UCC as well. So yeah, so in goals I went with JP Hickey of Crata. So I played with JP underage, and we played with Kerry together in the early 90s. So JP didn't play that long in goals, but when he was fit, he was a bit injury prone. But when he was fit, he got probably 2 years or 3 years with Kerry in goals. He was an excellent keeper. He had a beautiful striker of a ball, great puck out. Good temperament. And when he was playing, and he was at one stage, he was actually with Kerry. He was coming out taking the 65s. He was a beautiful striker of a ball. So, and for his puck outs alone, he was the odd one he used to puck out to me, and the odd one I used to try and get. He was deadly accurate, and we used to hit it in such a manner that it was obviously the forward's advantage. So I have JP Hickey of Crata in goals. My full-back line, number 2, I have a gentleman by the name of John Foley from Kilgarvan. John is actually chairman of Kilgarvan GA, so like myself, he's a sucker for punishment. So he is right cornerback. He played for Kerry in the early 90s as well. And he was teak tough cornerback. Wouldn't have been a massive hurler, but my God, he was tough. He was a real man marker. And he was always detailed when he was playing with Kerry to be on the best forward on the other team. And he never shirked his responsibility. So John Foley, number 2. Fullback, Mike Casey, St. Brendan's Alford. Pretty easy decision. Excellent fullback. Tough guy as well. Always played from the front. Didn't care who he marked. Whether it was Tipperary, Clare, Cork. He never took a step back. He was excellent for about 5 or 6 years there with Kerry. And he had that bit of madness as well. That's required for I feel to make a top hurler. Number 4, I go to my UCC days. Frank Lohan. I played hurling with Frank Lohan of Clare. So Frank went on to bigger and greater things after UCC. He played for Clare. His brother of Brian Lohan. He played. I'd say he's 2 All-Ireland medals at least with Clare, but he played cornerback. He was a couple of years younger than me. When I was finishing up in college, he was starting off, but you'd even know as an 18 or 19-year-old, he was that bit special, So he's a left cornerback. And my half-back line then is another Crata man. I'm picking all Crata men at the moment. Brendan O'Mahony, who to your younger listeners or viewers is father of Barry Mahoney, and all the hurling fraternity would know Brendan as well. He's involved with Crata, trained Ballyheigue last year. I always felt wing back was his best position. Right, tough nut, well able to work the timber. A good player and played everywhere with Crata, really drove him on for 10 years. Top player in fairness to him. Centre half back, I've gone back to UCC again. A guy by the name of Pat Hartnett. He played for Cork in the late 80s, early 90s. He played midfield, wing back with Cork. He won a couple of All-Ireland medals in the late 80s. He actually came to UCC a bit late in life. He was about 28 or 9, and he decided to do dentistry. So he played. He was a couple of years older than me, 5 or 6 years older than me, but he played for UCC for about 2 or 3 years there at centre back, and again, ferocious competitor, tough guy.
You had a lot of success at UCC, didn't you?
Well, I suppose we played in a lot of finals. Unfortunately, we didn't win a whole pile, but we got to a couple of finals. We should have won in, I think it was 92 or 93. We played UCD, and we were red hot favourites going in, and they brought us to extra time, and they'd done us in extra time. They had a guy by the name of Johnny Pilkington. He played with Offaly. He was excellent on the day. We should have won that day, but not a lot of silverware. Good few memories. But played football and hurling down there, and it was good fun, and you get to mix with good players, and it's a good town, Cork, as you know yourself. So and played a bit of Cork County Championship there as well. So it was good experiences as a. Back to the team. Number 7, I'm picking my first Abbey Dorney man, Aidan Healy, who we all know, top player. Probably played most of his hurling fullback and centre back. I always felt he was very good at wing back. I was involved with Kerry once, and I kept picking him wing back, and he used to give out to me. I don't know whether he liked playing wing back or not, but I always felt it was one of his best positions. But Aidan Healy, top player, great pace, good attitude, and he'll be playing senior again this year, hopefully with Abbey Dorney. It might be September, but we'll try and coax him back. Midfield, Brendan O'Sullivan, Ballyhigh, excellent player in the 90s, top player, midfielder, great pace. Ballyhigh there in the 90s, he was the main man for them. They won a couple of county finals. He was excellent. Confident guy, but talk the talk, but always walk the walk. He was a great player. His part of midfield, I'm going with a guy who was in UCC with as well, a guy by the name of Damien Quigley. Played with Limerick in the 90s as well. He used to play wing forward, corner forward, played a couple of Irelands with Limerick. Midfield was his best spot. I always felt he played for UCC for 3 or 4 years at midfield. He captained us 1 year, excellent captain. Real energetic kind of a guy, kind of comparing kind of to Tweet Griffin of Lixnada, kind of all action style, very clever player. So number 10, I'm going for the current Abbey Dorney senior hurling manager, and I played from under 10 all the way up to senior. Tony Mansell, again, excellent player, very passionate about his hurling. Don't have to tell anybody on this how passionate he is, but he was a real top player. Played for Kerry for years. I mean, he took many a good back to the cleaners. One being Frank Lohan that I mentioned, cornerback. I saw Tony cleaning him out inside town one day. Seen him cleaning up Pat O'Neill of Kilkenny another day. He was well able, could play anywhere. And I think he played till he's about 40. I know what he is now. He's about 60 years of age now, but he's he'd be in my team, no question. Christy Welch, Kilmiley, centre forward, great player. I think he played for Kerry about 18, 19 years. Always gave 8 out of 10. You'd always get 8 out of 10 rather. Not always gave 8 out of 10, but he was what I'd call an 8 out of 10 player. Never went below that. Very consistent for Kilmiley and for Kerry. Number 12, I was kind of looking around, so I pulled one out of the hat. Another Abbey Dorney man. He didn't play for us very long, but I played with him, and I was kind of finishing up Ivan McCarthy. So Ivan is now in Australia. Unfortunately, he had to immigrate, but he had savage potential. It was just a great pity that he had to immigrate. I felt if he could stay around, he would have been a mainstay of that Abbey Dorney team for at least 10 years. He has, he's a good athlete, good attitude, good hurler. He had everything going for him. But unfortunately,
had a great year actually. 2015, I think, was it? He came back. The year the
he did,
championship was
I
outside
remember.
town,
He came back. Ian brought him back, and he was very good against Ardfort below and Causeway. And but he picked up an injury. I think he cracked a rib or something like that.
A rib, I think.
Yeah, and he came on against, I think, Ballyduff, and he just wasn't 100%. And at that stage, even when he did come on and when he played against Ardfort, I'd say he hadn't played hurling for about 4 or 5 years at that stage, and he was still, he knew what he was at.
Yeah, he was the best player on the pitch that day. Definitely,
Yeah, it was very, very good. It was just a great pity that he had to immigrate. But for the couple of years I played with him, he was excellent. So I'm going to put him on my 15 that I played with. Next up, full forward line, I'm going to put John Mike Dooley of Causeway. Played with John Mike, kind of the late, what was it, early 2000s, I suppose, or late 1990s. I'm showing my age now, but an excellent forward, a real poacher. As good an inside forward as you get. Great guy to sniff out a goal. I played a bit of soccer with him as well with AC Athletic. He was absolutely lethal.
Still playing.
Still playing, yeah. And goes for Causeway, but he was kind of like, well, I'm showing my age now, but I don't know. Do you remember Ian Rush playing for Liverpool? He was that.
Well, I don't remember him playing at the time, but
he was clinical. I'm trying to think about a modern day. He's a bit like an Aguero for Man City. He's absolutely lethal in hurling and in the soccer. Full forward, I'm going to put a guy by the name of Alan Brown. He's played with him in UCC. He played a bit with Cork. Well, he played a nice bit with Cork. He won a couple of Ireland medals with him. He wasn't long in UCC. Only stayed about 2 years, but he used to play centre forward, full forward. Blackrock was his club. Tough guy, real hard nut.
Was he would have been the captain at one stage in the early noughties? I think I was watching an old game between
Yeah,
Cork and
I think he
Wexford
captained. Yeah,
semi-final. Yeah, maybe
yeah,
03.
yeah. I'm trying to think. They won in '99. He was playing that day, wing forward. He was there for about 5 or 6 years. So he's definitely on a medal in '99. I'm trying to think. Then he probably they won 0-4, either 0-3, 0-4. To All Ireland. I don't think he captained an All Ireland winning team, but he was definitely a captain one year. I think he might have won a Munster final with him. So
Yeah.
yeah, he gave 2 years in UCC, and I think he went auctioneering, something like that. I met the guy in about 30 years old at this stage, but he was a good player, tough guy. Wouldn't have been a massive hurler, but geez, he was strong. A real battering ram. And then the other corner, I will have to go for a Ballyduff man, but John Hennessy, I played a bit with John when John was finishing up with Kerry. I was kind of floating around the team, and John was our main score getter. He was kind of forward at that stage. He used to play wing back. I never remember him playing wing back, but he was supposed to be next to wing back as well. But he would have been the top forward, let's say, in the late 80s. And like that, he used to put up cricket scores, savage free taker. And the more pressure that was on the free, the more he liked it. So that would be my team, a mix of Kerry and a couple of other counties. So yeah, that'd be a decent team now if you put it out at the moment. So yeah, that'd be my pick.
Yeah, a lot of players there from, I suppose, probably Kerry Hurlin's best era, the last 100 years anyway, between in the 80s and 90s, competing
Yep.
in the Munster Championship, getting a few wins over, was it a win over Waterford and a win over Clare, was it, in the Munster Championship?
Yeah, well, we beat Waterford, but the only Munster Championship we won was against Waterford. We beat Clare in the league game, I think, but yeah, look, John Myler came down there I suppose it was John Myler's first inter-county job. And I'm trying to think now, it was kind of late, early 90s. And he came down and he really gave us a great kind of lease of life, to be fair to him. And he got the group committed, which was number one. I suppose had been an issue with Kerry back in the day. There was a nice bit of talent there, but the problem was commitment, and we were inclined to play hard and party hard. So he got us organised. He gave us, I suppose, a bit of belief as well. You know, being from Cork and having played for Cork and Wexford and won All Irelands, and he had great enthusiasm. And look, he went on to do great things with Kilmiley, and he went on to coach Carlow, Wexford, Cork most recently. But he was great, and he got everybody going in the one direction, you know. And you know, I wouldn't say it was the most, you could call it maybe the most successful, but there were better hurling. I felt Kerry hurling teams before and even after that. But he just got the whole team going together, 25, 26 fellas going together, and yeah, we beat Waterford in the Munster Championship in '93, and it was a nice one, you know. We down in Waterford as well, but we kind of fancied our chances at the time. We were going well. Waterford there was a bit of hassle in the background, and we just did it on the day, in fairness to them. And you know, like Sir Tony Mansell there, I remember I was playing that day. I was not very good, but Tony played that day. Now he was outstanding. You know, Brendan Sullivan, Christy Welch, Mike Casey, Jamie Sheehan, JP was in goals, Brendan Mahoney, John Foley. A few of the guys that I have on that team were playing that day, and yeah, it was a nice one. You know, it was a nice one. So anyway, one for the. But it'll be record books. I'd like to think it'll be broken by our current Kerry team, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, and hopefully we get to see them play anyway in the next 18 months at some stage.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It must be very frustrating for him. Yeah, and I suppose one thing, take the opportunity to thank all the club members. You know, it's been frustrating for the players in particular. We've had to close the pitch. There was initial lockdown, I suppose you call it a semi-lockdown, where the players could go on the pitch and train in twos and threes, keeping a social distance. And then it was a complete lockdown. It basically came from head office, or when I say head office, it's from the GA itself, and then it became the law of the land. So, and I know, you know, players, you know, some players weren't happy with that, and I could totally understand. It's, you know, you're looking at the pitch and you're not left into it, but unfortunately, it's the law of the land, and hopefully we'll get it back open. We have to close the gym as well now. In fairness, a couple of players asked for a bit of gym gear, and we got him sorted, and they took it out of the gym. But yeah, I suppose to thank the players for their patience, and the members as well for their patience. And we have a couple of members who volunteered for a local community group there, so they've offered their services if required for whatever running errands. So yeah, just like to take that opportunity to thank those people and thank them for their patience. And hopefully, when we're ready to go, we've everything lined up. The minute that we get the green light, we'll go hell for leather,
Yeah,
And
perfect.
one other thing as well is, I suppose, compliment yourself and Mary Roach in particular for keeping, whether there'll be a whole pile of people interested in watching me now or not, I don't know, Aidan, but it's good to see like Joe Meehan out there in Sydney, keeping that contact, and Michael Satchery to get his perspective on the intercounty, and it just, that we're still there. It keeps us kind of relevant. Mary's putting up good stuff on Facebook as well, and look, not everybody has access to Facebook, the older members of our club, but unfortunately that's the only medium we have at the moment, because we can't even meet people on the street, so yeah, keep up the good work, and hopefully, touch wood and please God, we'll get back out on the pitch, and we'll get operating fairly soon.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, like you said, maybe in October that there might be some action, and we might be able to play a bit of ball. So thanks very much.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks very much for coming on. I think it was very good to just get that side of it from a running the club sort of view, and I think that 15, I'm sure some people will have some things to say.
I think so. I thankfully I won't be able to meeting a whole pile of people, especially maybe the one might have their noses out of joint for not picking them. So I maybe the lockdown might continue a bit longer, so I can invite them and they might forget the team, But yeah, if it causes discussion, then good. That's always good.
Yeah, the next time we get you on, I'll get you to do the all-time 15 of players you've coached. So I think that'll be a bit more contentious.
Goody. There'll be a lot of noses out of joint then.
No
so yeah, keep up the good work, and thanks, Aidan.
No worries, Tom. Thanks very much, and we'll see you the next time.